Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another episode in the Azeroth Arsenal. This is a series where I go over the more iconic weapons and armor in the game's history, and for this one, I wanted to cover the epic priest staves from Vanilla, Anathema, and Benediction, which were removed in the Cataclysm expansion. They're similar in a lot of ways to the Roctalar bow and Loctalar staff that I covered in a previous episode. It's tied behind an interesting quest chain, and there's more to them than meets the eye. Or eyes rather, so let's get into it. So, similar to the Hunter weapons, it all starts in the Molten Core raid, even from the same boss. From the second to last boss in the raid, Major Domo Executus, there's a chance for a special item to drop. For priests, it's called the Eye of Divinity. A curious trinket with no stats, but with the flavor text, you can see movement when you peer into the eye, and if you click on it, you get the following text and clue for your next destination. When you peer into the eye, images of a great battle fill your mind. This terrifying conflict appears to be taking place somewhere in Lordaeron. You can barely make out a lone female figure standing amidst 1,000 corpses, fending off a sea of scourge. She is hopelessly outnumbered. Tendrils of light escape her hands, cutting through the undead by the hundreds. All for naught, it would seem. Moments later, the priestess is swarmed by the corpses of the peasants that were surrounding her. The fallen have risen. So, a lone priestess battling undead somewhere in Lordaeron. Again, very vague, just like the ancient petrified leaf from a previous episode, and had it not been for handy websites such as Thoughtbot or word of mouth, finding exactly where the heck you were supposed to go was a challenge to say the least. Well, a good place as any to start looking is in the Eastern Plaguelands. It's a high-level zone, and it has undead. And if you were thorough in your search, you would notice an NPC named Eris Havenfire in the very northwestern part of the zone near Stratholme, only visible to priests who have the Eye of Divinity equipped. This is the priestess that we saw in our vision earlier. She offers you a quest called the Balance of Light and Shadow, the goal of which is to save 50 peasants before 15 are slain. Accepting it started a gauntlet of sorts, and similar to the Hunter quest, if anyone entered the area, everything would despawn and you would fail the quest. This one was much more harsh though, because another person just needed to be within the immediate area, and a demon called the Cleaner would spawn and wipe out everyone. So, if someone wanted to mess up your day, it was very easy, or if they just wanted to try and help and didn't know. It was a very fragile event, so if you were to start it, you better be prepared. The quest requires a combination of both damage and healing, so having a talent specialization of both Holy and Discipline was the common strategy. When you started it, a group of friendly peasants will spawn in front of the cave. Your goal is to get them safely to a beacon of light. By healing them, by killing attacking enemies, and by abolishing diseases. There are two different ranks of diseases, purple and green. The purple one deals much more damage than the green one, and you had to dispel those immediately if you saw them active. Another danger are enemy spawns that will attack you and your peasants. These of course had to be killed as well, and even items like the Stratholme Holy Water were useful here. Anything to help with undead enemies. And also, on the route to the beacon are untargetable skeletal archers that deal constant damage to the peasants. So, you have to cleanse the diseases, kill undead, and heal the peasants until you get 50 across safely without letting 15 or more die. It was pretty challenging during that raid tier, and consumables/buffs from other players were very helpful. But if you were successful, you would be awarded with a special item called the Splinter of Narsil, which reads a tiny fragment of the World Tree. Just to throw some lore into this video, Narsil is the original World Tree, which you found atop the Mount Hyjal zone. This was a mystical tree that had great healing powers, and it gave the Night Elves their immortality. During the Third War, however, to stop Archimonde, Malfurion's Stormraid sacrificed the tree's power of immortality. It was heavily damaged, and a new tree called Teldrassil was grown to replace it, and unless someone lights it on fire, we should be good to go. Oh, wait a second. So even just a Splinter of Narsil holds incredible power. Now we just need to bring it out. We have to use it in combination with two items, the Eye of Divinity, which we have, and another item called the Eye of Shadow, which we don't have yet. We have a few options for this. It drops off of the world boss, Lord Kazakh, at a 40% rate. He spawns in the Blasted Land zone, and being a world boss, there was a lot of competition to take him down. So your guild would have to be on the lookout for him. Another option was to farm it at a much lower rate off of elite enemies in the Winter Spring or Blasted Land zones. The demons in these areas had around a 1% chance to drop the Eye of Shadow, so this too was an option, although usually it required a small group to farm them efficiently. And your last option was to just buy it off of the auction house. It wasn't bound, so this was always a choice as well if you had the gold. And in fact, it was a pretty good way to make gold back then, if I recall correctly. But getting all three of these items together allowed you to make the Benediction / Anathema staff. And just like the initial release of Rockdalar and Lockdalar, using it would switch between the two staves. Benediction was aimed for healing priests, either holy or discipline, and Anathema was for shadow priests. Light and shadow, just like the quest. Really cool models in my opinion. Anathema had this native green glow, and Benediction has this bright yellow glow. They definitely stood out from the other staves in the game. We need to get Kralnor's opinion on that one though. So, that's about it. That's the story of Anathema, Benediction, and everything surrounding them. A cool thing worth mentioning though is that the Eye of Divinity has some Easter eggs tied to it. If you had it equipped in the Zul Aman raid, you would see some special ghost NPCs. And in Shatrath next to Harris Pilton, you can see a ghost named Rakol Nichi. And I'm sure many more that I don't know about. Feel free to share them if I missed any. Anyways, that's all I got for you for this episode. I hope you found the video interesting or entertaining. Like it if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Azeroth Arsenal. Peace.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video. See you again soon.